지방은 살찌는 음식이라고 생각해서 다이어트 할 때 지방이 가장 적은 닭가슴살을 먹기도 하고 고기를 먹을 때 기름을 떼어내고 먹습니다. 지금까지 그렇게 다이어트를 해오셨던 분들이 저탄고지 다이어트에 대해 처음 들어보면 상당히 비상식적으로 들립니다. 아니 지방을 먹는데 어떻게 살이 빠진다는 거지? 하고요. 캔베리 박사는 저탄고지 다이어트가 살이 빠지는 원리에 대해 이렇게 설명합니다.
If you're overweight, if you're obese, if you're morbidly obese, what you want to do is you want to lose fat. You don't want to lose muscle. You don't want to lose bone density or bone strength. You want to lose the stored energy on your body, which is the fat that you carry on your booty, on your belly, or worst of all, inside of your liver or inside of your pancreas. The fat inside your belly, although it doesn't look as bad in the mirror, is actually much more medically dangerous to you than the fat that you see in the mirror and that you maybe perhaps hate so much. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how eating fat to lose fat actually works and why you should do it and why it's actually very healthy. I'm going to link down below in the show notes to all the research I used to make this video so you can look these things up and verify them for yourself. Now let's jump into this. So basically, when you eat, every single meal you eat, every single snack you have consists of three different macromolecules: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Those are the three macronutrients. And so every meal or every snack or everything you drink has those three things in it, if it has any energy at all that your body can use for energy or to use to build your body parts. And so what we're going to do with this diet, eat fat to lose fat, is you're going to turn down the carbohydrate intake knob. And if the faster you want to lose the fat, then you need to turn down the carbohydrate intake knob even more and more and more. If you turn it down to 20 grams of total carbohydrates a day or less, then that is a ketogenic diet. If you turn it down as close to 0 grams of total carbohydrate intake a day as you can get it, then that is a carnivore diet. Both of these diets are exemplary for helping you lose fat while also maintaining your muscle, and some people even put on some muscle naturally, and then also helping to maintain your bone strength. But you want to burn the fat. If that's what you're after, then this is how you do it. And so by turning down the carbohydrate intake, you're going to have to eat more protein or fats. Now, I know that you've probably been told by your doctor and your dietitian and your mama too that you shouldn't eat fat, that fat's bad for you. But research that's been hidden for decades is now coming out. New research is being done that shows us that fat is actually good for human beings. If you're eating good, healthy types of fat, then it's very beneficial for your body in hundreds and hundreds of ways. Most all of your sex hormones, most all of your adrenal hormones come directly from cholesterol. And so you want to be eating lots of good, healthy, saturated fat so that you have a good source of cholesterol, because if not, your hormone health will suffer.
여기서 말하는 건강한 지방이란 가공되지 않은 자연적인 형태의 지방을 말합니다. 기름진 고기나 생선, 계란 노른자, 코코넛 오일, 버터, 치즈, 아보카도, 올리브유 등이 있습니다. 반대로 건강하지 않은 지방은 먼저 가공식품에 많이 사용되는 쇼트닝, 마가린, 파뮤 등이 있습니다. 그 다음은 우리가 주로 요리를 할 때 사용하는 지방입니다. 카놀라유, 콩기름, 포도씨유, 옥수수 기름 등입니다. 이것들은 식물성 기름이라는 이상야릇한 이름 때문에 뭔가 건강한 느낌을 주지만 여러 가공 과정을 거친 건강에 매우 해로운 기름입니다. 자세한 내용은 따로 영상으로 다뤄보도록 하겠습니다.
So how does this work? Well, here's how it works. And I'm going to give you 7 ways that this is going to help you lose fat and keep the fat off in a fun, healthy, fulfilling, sustainable way. The first thing it does, and probably the most important thing that eating more fat does and eating fewer carbohydrates does, is it lowers your insulin level in your bloodstream back to low normal. Insulin does hundreds of things in your body, but one of the biggest things that it does that concerns you right now is that it helps your body store fat, right? And so anytime your insulin is elevated, it's very hard to burn the fat that you've already stored on your body. Anytime you eat carbohydrates, those carbohydrates break down immediately into sugars. When the sugars hit your bloodstream, your insulin goes up, and that turns off your ability to meaningfully burn fat that you've already stored in or on your body. And so we want to keep the insulin level as low normal as we can. And by eating far fewer carbohydrates than you're currently eating and eating far more healthy fats than you're currently eating, you're going to keep the insulin level low normal, not dangerously low, just in the low range of normal, that's kind of the sweet spot for burning stored fat, which is what you're after. Next thing that eating lots of fat and way fewer carbohydrates does for you is it optimizes the ranges of your two hunger hormones. They're called leptin and ghrelin. And you can Google these and read about these and quickly see that optimizing these into the right levels really makes it much easier to be on a long-term way of eating like this. If you're constantly hungry, if you're starving to death, you are not going to be able to continue that diet. And indeed, that's why many people find that the semi-starvation diets like Weight Watchers, Biggest Loser, Jenny Craig, Flexitarian, Ornish, all of these, they'll help short term, but you can't do them long term because you're starving all the time, because your leptin is low and your ghrelin is high. It's hard. You can't starve a human for the rest of their lives. And indeed, that's why there will never be a reunion show for the Biggest Loser television show, because they've all regained the weight, because that diet consisted of starving them. And you can't do that for the rest of your life. But if you're eating a diet that's high in healthy fat and very low in carbohydrates, your leptin and ghrelin go right where you want them to be. So you're full, you're happy, you're satiated, you're not starving all the time. And that makes this way of eating very sustainable.
The Biggest Loser는 정해진 기간 동안 누가 더 살을 많이 빼는지를 겨루는 다이어트 서바이벌 프로그램입니다. 이들은 우리가 다이어트 하면 떠오르는 적게 먹고 많이 움직이는 방법으로 체중 감량을 시도했는데요. 극적인 상황을 연출해야 하는 방송의 특성상 훨씬 극단적으로 다이어트를 진행했습니다. 참가자들은 짧은 기간 엄청난 양의 살을 뺐지만 문제는 그 다음이었습니다. 6년의 추적 관찰 결과 참가자들 중 대부분은 요요 현상을 겪었고 신진대사율이 크게 떨어져 회복되지 않는 것으로 나타났습니다. 이것은 적게 먹고 많이 움직이라고 하는 우리가 알고 있던 저칼로리 다이어트의 부작용을 보여주는 대표적인 사례라고 할 수 있습니다.
The next thing that eating lots of fat and very little carbohydrate does is it actually speeds up your metabolism. You're going to actually burn fat faster by eating more fat. And I know that may be backwards to everything you've ever been told your entire life, but all the things you were taught in your entire life about losing weight, how are they working for you? Right? We have an obesity epidemic in modern society, and it's because we eat too many carbohydrates. Slash your carbohydrates and eat lots more healthy fats, and you're going to speed up your metabolic rate. So when you're in bed asleep, you're actually going to be burning more calories than if you were up walking around on your old way of eating. That is very powerful and very helpful. The next thing that eating lots of healthy fats and slashing the carbohydrates is going to do for you is it's going to raise your human growth hormone level and raise your testosterone level in a good way. And women, don't freak out. This is not going to make you grow a beard and have an Adam's apple. It doesn't work that way. It's just going to move your testosterone and your human growth hormone, or your HGH, into the optimal ranges so that it makes it easier for you to burn the stored fat that you're trying to get rid of.
이 호르몬들은 체중 감량 중 손실되기 쉬운 근육을 보존하고 신진대사를 유지하는 기능도 합니다. 이렇게 저탄고지 다이어트는 우리 몸속에서 작용하는 호르몬들이 올바른 일을 할 수 있도록 합니다. 이것이 바로 칼로리 제한 다이어트와의 결정적인 차이점입니다. 저칼로리 다이어트는 이와 반대로 호르몬 기능에 문제가 생겨 신진대사가 느려지고 극심한 배고픔을 느끼게 됩니다. 이것은 다이어트를 그만두고 나서도 바로 고쳐지지 않기 때문에 요요 현상이라는 악순환에 빠지게 됩니다.
Next thing that this way of eating does is it helps you eat fewer times a day. When you eat a breakfast of bacon and eggs, you're not hungry for hours and hours and hours. And so it kind of inevitably, effortlessly increases the amount of time that you're not eating during the day, which goes back to the number one point. You're keeping your insulin level very low normal for many more hours a day by eating lots of healthy fats and slashing your carbohydrate intake. And so you'll wind up eating maybe 2 meals a day, or maybe even 1 meal a day. Some people are just not hungry. And as long as you feel good, your mental clarity is good, your energy is good, you're sleeping good, and your skin and hair looks good, you're getting enough nutrition. And so that's actually the ultimate test. How do you feel and how do you look? On this way of eating, you're going to feel great and look great, and you're just not going to have to eat 3, 4, 5 times a day. The next thing that this way of eating does is it's going to almost eliminate that thoughtless snacking you do. If there's something there, you just reach and get it and eat it. It's almost a habit. It's almost an addiction for some of us, right? But when you're eating lots of healthy fat with each meal and you're eating until you're comfortably full, you're not going to snack as much. And that goes back to point one. You're going to keep your insulin level from spiking all the time, giving you the opportunity to burn the stored fat on your booty as fuel. And that's how you get rid of fat. The only way to get rid of the fat that you're trying to get rid of is to burn it as energy. And the only way to do that is to not be snacking constantly through the day. Even if they're keto snacks, they're going to raise your insulin level probably enough to really slow down the fat burning that you're trying to get going.
저탄고지 식단에서 주로 먹는 기름진 고기나 생선은 지구상에서 영양 밀도가 가장 높은 음식입니다. 따라서 하루에 자주 먹지 않더라도 에너지가 넘치고 쓸데없는 음식을 갈망하지 않게 됩니다. 우리가 하루에 먹는 횟수를 제한했을 때 얻을 수 있는 건강과 다이어트 효과는 정말 놀랍습니다. 간헐적 단식에 대해 더 자세히 알고 싶은 분들은 오른쪽 상단 관련 영상을 참고해주세요.
The final way, number 7, is when you eat lots of healthy fat, you're going to make your brain work better. You're going to be in a better mood. You're not going to be as anxious. You're going to have more stamina and stability. You're going to have more perseverance. You're going to have more discipline. Think about that. It's much easier to do something if you're 100% in and all gung-ho to do it. But if you're tired and you feel like crap and you can't think straight, you're going to be reaching for the snacks. And so my advice to you, if you want to lose fat, you have to eat lots more healthy fats and you have to eat lots fewer carbohydrates. That's how you do it. And all those pictures you see on Instagram and Twitter of people who have lost crazy amounts of weight, yet they don't have any redundant skin left, that's keto. That is high fat, low carb. That is a carnivore diet. That's how that happens. And so if you're brand new to this way of eating, you're like, wait, what? Eat more fat? What? Watch the first few videos in this series and you'll understand not only the science of it, not only the common sense of it, but also the ancestral appropriateness of this. Our ancestors have been eating as much fatty meat as they could get their hands on for the last 250,000 years. This is not a new thing. This is not a fad. This is how human beings are supposed to eat. You might even call it the proper human diet. So I'm going to put all the links below to the research. This is Dr. Barry. I'll see you next time.
이상한 다이어트였습니다.